Today, we are now on the 5th day of our Simbang Gabi. And today we celebrate what we used to be known as the Golden Mass, or the Missa Aurea, which commemorates the Annunciation, the actual start of the life of Jesus. God became man. I remember when Archbishop Socrates Villegas ordained us 5 priests. He told and he reminded us 5 priests. He told us, before you are called to become a fathers, you are first called to be a mothers. Sabi niya sa amin, you are called to be a mother because you also have a uterus. That's what Bishop Socrates told us in his homily. You also have a uterus in your heart. Since you have a uterus in your heart, Bishop Sok told us, you must always be pregnant with Jesus. And that will only happen if we are also open to the promptings, to the works of the Holy Spirit. So he told us, he reminded us that our first duty as a priest is to be open to the promptings, is to be open to the works of the Holy Spirit. Today, my dear brothers and sisters, we heard the Annunciation of Angel Gabriel to Mary. Actually, the Annunciation of Angel Gabriel to Mary is actually the Annunciation of God's love to humanity. Let us remember when our first parents, Adam and Eve, fell into sin. After Adam and Eve's fall, God immediately had this project to save humanity. But in order for this God's project to happen, God still needs human participation. And this is where the role of Mary takes place. God could have sent Jesus already 30 years old. Okay, you are now 33 years old. You must start now your ministry. But God did not do that. That was not the plan of God. The plan of God, Jesus still must undergo a natural process. So Mary must be pregnant, and Mary must give birth to Jesus Christ. But in order for that to happen, in order for that project of God's project for Mary to happen, Mary must always be open to the works of the Holy Spirit. This is what the angel Gabriel said to her, that her son, that she will conceive a son by the power of the Holy Spirit. Mary did not accept it. So Mary has a second thought of accepting the will of God. How can this be, since I have no relation with a man? And then the angel assured her, this is not the work of man, but this is the work of God. And since this is the work of God, it will always be successful. My dear brothers and sisters, I think and I believe the reminder of Bishop Socrates Villegas to us does not only apply to us as priests to become a mothers, but it also applies to each one of us. We are also called to become a mothers. We are called to be mothers because we all have a uterus. We all have a uterus in our hearts, and we must always be pregnant with Jesus. But in order for that to happen, we must always be open to the works of the Holy Spirit. My dear brothers and sisters and brothers, when we are full of love, when our hearts are full of love, when our hearts are full of compassion, when our hearts are full of mercy, we are already pregnant with Jesus. And when we live out this love, and when we live out this mercy, and when we live out this compassion, we are already giving birth to Jesus. So we are called to give birth to the one who gave birth to us. It is God first who gave birth to us. By this time, we are now called to give birth to the one who gave birth to us. My dear brothers and sisters, recently we have been badly hit by the typhoon Odette. I have a classmate who is a priest, and their house was totally devastated by this typhoon, swayed by this typhoon. Hindi na po nakita ang kanilang bahay. Ngayon po, my dear brothers and sisters, this is an opportunity for us to give birth to the one who gave birth to us. This is an opportunity to give birth to Jesus when our hearts are full of mercy, love, compassion. We must give birth that. We must give birth to all of those. My dear brothers and sisters, when we do charity, when we live out our love, when we live out our mercy, when we live out the compassion of God, we make the incarnation of Jesus happen again and again. So the incarnation of Jesus did not only happen once, did not only happen during when Mary gave birth to him, but the incarnation of Jesus, when we do our charity, when we live out the love of God, we make the incarnation happen again and again. Indeed, we can say every day is Christmas. Indeed, we can say araw-araw ay Pasko lagi, sapagkat araw-araw din natin iniluluwal ang kagustuhan ng Diyos para sa atin, para sa ating kapwa. At araw-araw din natin iniluluwal mismo ang Diyos sa buhay natin. May God bless all of us.